Good morning. I would like to introduce such a highly recommended topic that is needed by most of researchers, readers, and writers. Concerning about the researchers, I would mention something to them to be aware of, particularly when we talk about the importance of creating such reliable and significant topics. Reliable and significant topics might be difficult to be reached, but I would help and support them in particular. Recently, we have heard about one of the most sophisticated and oriented title. It talks about how could we use the 5 steps of writing a complex villain. A complex villain means the writer of a novel, a short story, a novel employ such characters within the style of writing to make the process of movement within the text agitated and encourageable to readers and listeners or the audience while they are watching a film, a movie, or any series of episodes. In dealing with these things, I do suggest that researchers rethink about this title, the title of the importance of complex villain in literary writing, or the typicality of a complex villain character in the recent years of advancement and technology. It might be put in another style. It depends upon the supervisor and readers and those who are dealing with academic and peer-reviewed ideas. These matters are debated and negotiable. They are associated with another different, difficult and critical analysis of being such a good researcher or a great researcher or an advanced researcher. All these titles are not related in a matter or another. They are recognizable and comprehensive in their profound meanings and contents. This is the first aspect. The second point that I would talk about and speak about loudly and doing a type of screaming to make writers now, not researchers, aware and being conscious of the development and improvement in the field of literature. Stances are different nowadays. We are encountering such styles that might be unacceptable when we compare them to the classical ones, or it is somehow simplified, and the idea of using easy process writing is so notified. So I have talked about these things and divided them into three classifications: researchers, writers, and the third one will be mentioned later. Writers, I do mean writers, novelists, short storyteller and writers and authors. Those might not be fully aware of how to write a complex villain. It takes the second step of writing. It means in the second chapter of writing a novel. So you have to take this into account, and you must be obligatory forced to restrict to such rules and basics. It's not a random process of writing. It is obligatory and realistic. Matters are not random process writing. Things are not agitated accordingly. And that's why I'm seeing these things in order to make you aware of the huge bulk and enormous amounts of novels that we do have in our countries in particular. Anyone who would like to write a novel or a short story, they do go there and find a publisher or publication or an editor to correct their mistakes and then publish their books. The idea is not with the size of the book, neither with the size of the book nor with the amount of writing. The idea is how could you employ the basics and the structural constructions of such writings. It's complex, but not easy. It is serious, but not fine. So I'm so pleased, and I am fairly delightful to mention such things that are valuable, significant, reliable, and important. The paramount point is how could you know about the five basics? A complex villain needs from the writer. When I mention the word writer, I do mean the other titles: an author, a novelist, a short storyteller, a narrator, etc. The writer means how could you defend that type of character by showing him, her in a way that is used with beautiful decoration and humble, noble methods. The idea is not to create a narcissistic character. It means the anti-hero, anti-protagonist would like to express and defend their rights. They do have such demands and requests, and their inquiries are respectful. And that's why I would encourage and motivate the writer to understand this thematic element. They are human, they need to be socialized, and they do have their rights in order to express about themselves in a way or a method that is acceptable. Psychologically speaking, anyone would like to show off his her abilities, capacities, and the empowerment of using an advancement. It takes time, and at the same time, it's an internal struggle of his her identity, the gender complexity, and the sex identification and modification must be understood and comprehended precisely. However, the topic is complex, and the villain is serious. You are not. It is an unbearable thing. You cannot escape from such things easily. Second point that need to be taken into account: the type of a complex villain: pragmatic, self-centered, self-taught, intrinsic, extrinsic, conservative. All these types must be dealt with perfectly. Academically speaking, you have to take account about the type of grammar, the type of sentences, and the way of implementing such phrases, clauses, titles. Besides, the process of using the punctuation marks must be highly recommended and highly qualified. A complex villain is not highly talented. He is a human, an individual, a person who would like to improve his personality and achievements in a way or another that might be regarded as feasible and economical in terms of cost-benefit issues, cause-effect matters. I am so encouraged and motivated to talk about such things with an academic way of speaking. Besides, you have to take into account the idea of narcissistic characters. Narcissistic characters does not mean that you must ignore that character, and showing indifference means a good personality or highly recommended identity. No, this is false. Thank you.